Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the Mothership Zeta no-kill run. Last week we blew up the last generator, and now somebody needs to go outside the hull to access the upper section of the ship.
Yeah.
Hey, Paulson. Toshiro is missing. Paulson doesn't have any experience with advanced technology. The spacesuit won't fit Sally, and Luce hasn't had much luck talking Soma or Elliot into going, so I guess it's up to her.
Oh. Hi.
Hey, Elliot. Soma. Neither one of you really wants to do this, huh? Fine. This switch decompresses the airlock.
Hey, don't forget to put on the astronaut suit before starting the decompression sequence.
Thank you, Sally. She's not kidding. If you're not wearing the spacesuit when you decompress the airlock, or if you take it off when you're in vacuum, you will die. And now we just need to wait for it to pump the air out. The lights will change when it's ready. There we go. Dead aliens. Creatures killed still 0. Good. I mean, if escaped prisoners are running amok on the ship, blowing up generators that power life support in an area that's obviously exposed to vacuum on a regular basis, and you're working in there without a helmet, let's be serious, that's on you. Or maybe your boss, if he said there weren't enough helmets to go around and made you go into an area where there was an extremely high likelihood that you'd need one. But it is 100% not Luce's fault. Fortunately, whether by accident or design, the game didn't bump up our kill count. If I had to guess, they probably spawn already dead, so the game wouldn't need to kill them with a script like it does with the Crushers or the one Sally kills with a grenade. And now the spacewalk. Considering how much the game holds your hand with quest objectives, I'm a little bit surprised it lets you figure this out on your own. But there are 3 of these exposed panels scattered around the hull that you have to put back into place. Presumably the aliens popped them out to disable the gravity lift. You might think they'd post some guards, but the game sells the spacewalk effect by slowing you down a little bit and disabling most of your controls. You can't look at your Pip-Boy or draw a weapon, so combat's off the table. In-game, it might be because combat in a vacuum would be extremely dangerous. Stim packs and biogel make no difference. One little rip in your spacesuit and you either find an airlock and get it pressurized within a few seconds or you're dead. Or patch your suit, I guess, but that wasn't a thing with spacesuits like the one we're wearing. And back to the meta context, you can repair armor instantly in this game, but you can't access your Pip-Boy. Where's the third panel? Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. And speaking of gravity, the warning lights around the perimeter mark the extent of the artificial gravity field that holds you to the hull. If you go past them, you float off into space and die. The game plays a little animation and kills you. It's kind of cool, so let me drop a save and show you. I wonder what these lights mean. So yeah, don't do that. Anyway, when you push the last panel back in, the gravity lift powers up, which is the big circular thing in the middle. Step into the light, and up we go. Ow! My fingers! I always thought it was weird that they didn't fix that. The Pip-Boy glove takes priority over the spacesuit glove, which would be fine for any other armor because you don't wear them in space. Hello. Cycle the airlock and maybe we can lock it in there before it blows us up. Excellent. Anyway, the game goes out of its way to warn you that exposure to vacuum without the spacesuit will kill you, and it does, including in the airlocks if they're not pressurized. I mean, you might not even notice the missing glove in normal gameplay, but your hands float out prominently in front of you during the cutscene to sell the idea that you're weightless, and there's no way you can't notice it then. I mean, sure, it's your hand, not your helmet, but A, even if there was an airtight seal around your wrist, your hand would be all kinds of messed up from being exposed that long. And B, it's a mid-20th century spacesuit. If the glove isn't attached, all your air would just blow out through the sleeve and you'd die exactly the same as if you took off your helmet. Which, despite what the game and most movies would have you believe, you wouldn't actually explode. What does happen isn't pleasant or quite as quick as you might think, but it doesn't look like you swallowed a grenade. You know what? I have a save in the middle of the spacewalk. Ah, much better. At least in third person. Might as well make sure it works for the cutscene, too. No reason it shouldn't, but you never know. Not testing things you think simply can't fail is a great strategy if you like getting bug reports. And there it is. Good. So here's a question for you. This is a standalone mod that took me like literally 2 minutes, but it'd have conflicts with other mods that change the spacesuit, of which there are at least 2. Fixing it without any conflicts would be tricky, but possible, and if I put that much work into it, I'd probably do it in PAM under the and more umbrella. I'll explain why when I get into technical stuff at the end, but let me know in the comments which way you think would be better for people playing it. Anyway, time to get the rest of the team up here. Don't forget to put the stealth armor back on. Walk into a room full of aliens thinking I'm invisible, and they're like, is this that Emperor's New Clothes thing, or... Anyway, push this button. And here they come.
I'll get the door.
Fortunately, we're back in an area where Sally can override stuff from inside the walls. There's Elliot, so the gang's all here. And in a second, Sally should open this door. Then there's a cutscene that's, well, you'll see. But before we do that, I want to check something. Is the teleporter they used still active? Looks like it. Indeed it is. Next question, can we still get into the side levels? My money is on yes we can. It looks to me like the script that locks them runs when you complete the DLC quest line. Well, it doesn't actually lock them, it replaces them with... Hello. What are you guys doing here? They must have a package to follow the player to the observation deck so everybody's there for the cutscene. But if you don't go to the observation deck, will they follow me literally anywhere now? Looks like it. Is it just Sally and Soma, or all of them? Looks like it's everybody. Well, that has some really interesting implications. Like, it doesn't do you any good for the levels with generators, but the 3 optional areas where you ordinarily can't take anybody, you could wait until after the spacewalk and then come back and do them with the whole team. That'd be OP even if you didn't use the PAM option to make them unkillable. And actually, you couldn't use it to make destroying the generators easier, but this is very bad news for the alien with the drone control device that I couldn't get because the pickpocket chance was too low.
Well, isn't this fancy? All these shiny machines and such. Gotta find a generator, huh? Let's see. How about we start with that teleporter thing?
Oh, I hope she doesn't go into her robot assembly package. Doesn't look like she's going to.
I'm gonna mess you up.
Take them down!
It's probably conditional on her quest stage, and we're way past that.
Take them out.
And hey, the only way to get a drone cannon is by looting dead Guardian drones, so I kind of assumed we wouldn't be getting one of those as a souvenir, but now we will. Well, that one's not dead, but it's inert for some reason. Probably disabled it when we were in here a couple weeks ago. There's one that's still moving. I'm just gonna hide back here with you, alright? What you looking at?
I'm gonna mess you up.
Probably aliens on the catwalk. Did I get it? Not quite.
Take them out.
There we go. Drone cannon. To me, the game kinda did big guns dirty. The atomizer is great for pistol users, the disintegrator is great for rifle users, but the drone cannon, it's more like a grenade launcher than a missile launcher. The projectiles explode on a timer, not on contact. It does a ton of damage if you can get the hang of it, and the splash radius is fairly generous, but it always felt to me like enemies have too much time to jump out of the way when it's bouncing around.
You're mine, sucker.
Turret. We'll pick this one up too, and we can probably get one in 100% condition. Nice. Now, where's the guy with the drone control? And yes, this is clearly inappropriate for a literal pacifist run, but for a no-kill challenge, it might be legit. Maybe in the gray zone between feature and exploit, but it's not even in the same league as something like abusing autosave to bypass locked doors or that kind of thing. And it's well established that Luz is a pacifist in the sense that she won't kill anything herself, but she's willing to hire bodyguards who aren't likewise constrained to protect her in a pinch. On the other hand, this doesn't really count as a pinch.
You're mine,
Opening fire!
Taking Dogmeat and RL3 on a mission of mercy so he could get past some super mutants blocking the way was a pinch. This is more like murder. On the other hand, the aliens did abduct us. Killed Elliot's whole squad, probably Paulson's wife and son, maybe Sally's sister, and they're trying to kill us so we can't escape. So we're not just looting out of greed, we're looking for something specific that could be really important to that goal. So yeah, Luz's conscience is clear. Mostly. Hey, is this the guy?
Take this!
Tear him up.
Kill all of them!
I'm gonna mess you up.
Oh yeah, that one has way more health than any of the others. That's gotta be him.
That's got to be the generator. Let's destroy it and get back to the engine core.
Kind of already destroyed Soma. There it is. Drone control device. Yeah, if we'd gotten caught trying to pickpocket this guy, well, that would have been really bad. Anyway, back to the observation deck. And here's the cutscene.
It's so pretty, isn't it?
Didn't think I'd ever see something like this.
That's really something. Almost enough to make you forget we're running for our lives up here.
Not really the time for gawking.
Sorry, I should get the door. Hang on, okay?
And now she unlocks the next one, after which the cutscene resumes. Well, not technically a cutscene, it's a scripted event. The alien captain appears in a hologram. The drone is not supposed to be wearing the hologram as a hat. That's hilarious. Push that out of the way. In fact, why is there a drone here? The one I trapped in the airlock might have glitched out here, but it was hostile. The gravitas of the death ray is undermined a bit, but...
Wow! Did you see that? Scary, but also kind of a stupid move on their part, don't you think?
I have no idea what he said, but he sounded pretty angry.
Oh, come on. You don't need to understand it to get the point. Some kind of a threat. And if they're threatening us, it's a good bet we're starting to scare them a bit. Now, you ask me. We need to find out what that was and make sure it doesn't happen again. But at least we know we're getting somewhere.
Anyway, I don't mean to nitpick, but we saw the ship as a double saucer during the spacewalk. The point of which was that the aliens shut off the teleporters to trap us in the lower part, so we used the gravity lift to get to the top. But when you look through the floor, there's nothing below us but the Earth. The top saucer is a good bit bigger, and if you were out far enough toward the edge, maybe you couldn't see the lower saucer, but the airlock is right around the corner. Maybe there's a long passageway from the top of the lift to the airlock, and we just didn't see it during the cutscene. Or maybe we're supposed to be checking out the view and not thinking about that. I just always thought it was kind of weird. And this drone, I know the drone control device only lets you control one drone at a time, and only when you unlock one from its charging pod with it in your inventory, but maybe it has a secondary effect and makes other drones non-hostile. You know, like the Ghoul Mask or something? I don't know. Anyway, we're supposed to be getting to the bridge, so let's get on with that.
Oh no! They turned this one off too! You're going to have to find the other end and turn it back on.
Well, if we can walk to the other end of the teleporter from here, we don't even need it. Let's just go.
That doesn't seem like a very good idea. If they turned it off, that means they know we're here. And they're probably waiting on the other side of that door. It'd be smarter if just one person went and checked it out. Don't worry, we'll be safe right here. Good luck.
But if you're right, that's all the more reason not to send just one person. Especially the pacifist.
Hope we find what we're looking for soon.
Yeah, me too. Send Paulson. He's got a death wish. Right, he doesn't have any experience with advanced technology, so how would he turn the teleporter back on? Soma's not the type to stick her neck out. Elliot's not much more of a killer than I am. And I do have the stealth suit. Fine. I'll go. Crystals. Okay, what? Why is it following me? I did not let it out of a pod. No, that's a turret control terminal, not a door switch. You can destroy the terminals remotely, but unlike human turrets where you just shut them down, these are actually destroyed, and I believe doing that does bump up your kill count. Is the drone fighting for me? It should definitely not be. Oh, now it isn't. That was very strange. Unless maybe the alien that had the remote control was letting one out of a pod when we were in robot assembly a couple weeks ago, and I didn't notice until I was editing that it was actually holding the drone control device in its hand at the time, which I guess is a hint that there's something special going on. If it already had a flag set to follow whoever has the device, maybe it switched over to me when I took it. Anyway, I don't think I talked about these door switches before. Most of them you can rig to explode when an enemy walks by, which the alien patrol routes don't generally take them near locked areas, but it can be situationally useful. Like, if you run into heavy opposition a little farther along, you can lead them back past a rigged door as you retreat, soften them up a bit. A couple interesting things in here. Another Buttercup toy. And the atomic pulverizer. A unique variant of the alien atomizer. We might as well get the pulverizer up to full condition since there are a couple convenient atomizers right here. Anyway, we need to work through 3 labs before we reach the other end of the teleporter. This is the weapons lab, and there are indeed a lot of weapons, including unique variants of 3 different alien weapons. The atomic pulverizer we just got, and 2 more. Just need to wait for this guy to give us enough space to squeeze by. Go. Nice. In the lab proper, there's an experimental weapons drone, and if you kill it, it drops a unique variant of the drone cannon. Sadly, we will not be getting that because Luz can't kill anything, obviously. The switch to unlock the door downstairs is right up here, although I'm not sure what the point is. The stairs go down to the side we couldn't reach, and I guess it's a nice escape route if things go sideways and you have to retreat. Or if you rushed the sniper, it'd make it easy to double back and do some looting. The door right here. You know, there are several drones in recharging pods on this level. Probably not enough to get the unique cannon, though. They'd have to fight through so much other stuff before they even got to the experimental weapons drone. I mean, unlike the regular drone cannons, the projectiles explode on impact, so it's a lot more predictable in combat, but it would only be a souvenir for Luz, so I really shouldn't be that worried about it. Alright, here's the lab proper. The room with the experimental weapons drone is over here. Well, there are actually 2. These switches release them from their pods and spawn in a Brahmin that they'll test their weapons on, but Luz isn't going to do that. But it just occurred to me, can you release them with the drone control device? That'd be pretty cool. Doesn't look like it. Boo. If you could, that'd be another way to get the unique cannon. Just let it follow you around until it gets killed and take it. Oh well. This big collection of human weapons and armor goes back to what I said in the cargo bay. The prototype plasma pistol may or may not be based on alien technology, but the aliens are clearly studying human technology too. Maybe to develop countermeasures or improve their own weapons, or if the prototype is based on alien tech, just to prove humans stole their intellectual property. I mean, not like they're gonna sue, but maybe to figure out how smart we are. You know, they copied the widget, so they understand that principle, but not the gizmo, so that's still our secret. And finally, back in the target range area, there's a unique disintegrator rifle. Which, unlike the regular ones, is full auto. It obviously chews through ammo pretty fast, but it's just too fun not to use. The destabilizer. But everybody sing along. Useless to lose except as a souvenir. The target ranges let you spawn in enemies to shoot at, just Brahmin in the one closest to the door, but the one over here with the obstacle course plucks random enemies from the wasteland, like rad scorpions or raiders. There's a disintegrator rifle here, so might as well get the destabilizer up to full condition. The raiders shoot back, of course. Luz won't be doing that in any case, but it's not just a way to farm XP. If you kill enough enemies here, you get the Xenotech Expert perk, which gives you bonus damage when using alien weapons. Let's just check. Yeah, creatures killed is still 0, so none of our morally dubious hijinks earlier bumped up the kill count. I think that's everything of note in here, so on to the experimentation lab. That's the second of the 3 labs between us and the teleporter Sally wants to use. I mean, the second of 3 levels. Each level has multiple areas you could call labs. Drop a save before we go through. And I think right beyond the entrance. Yeah. We're almost to the room where you get probed right after you're abducted. At least, canonically. The cutscene actually happens in the holding cells in a room that's not physically connected to the rest of the level, and the game moves you to your cell when the cutscene fades out, so there's no loading screen. But in here... give that guy a minute to wander off. You can see the examination chairs with all the robotic arms and probe devices that were used on us. Other abductees who apparently didn't survive the initial examination. Yep. Just in case you needed a little reminder that despite the relative lack of violence that comes with the stealth suit, we really are fighting for our lives against some pretty nasty beings here. Don't need a healing arch. Oh, sucks to be that guy. So close and yet so far. Guess he got out of his restraints but didn't quite make it to the arch. Now, right around the corner, you have to destroy this generator to move forward. But if you're worried it might cut power to more than just that door, your opinions are well founded. It also releases the abominations in those cells, and presumably elsewhere on the ship, because we'll see them all over the place afterwards. They're fast and have ridiculously powerful hand-to-hand attacks, but they don't use weapons and they're fairly easy to kill, so in a regular playthrough they're not too bad unless you get swarmed. In a no-kill run, we really need not to be seen. The good news is they're hostile to the aliens and vice versa, so there will be places where we can just let them duke it out and have less enemies to sneak past when the dust settles. I'm not sure if it's explicitly stated in any canon sources, but it's definitely implied that the abominations are a result of the aliens trying to create alien-human hybrids. To what purpose, I don't know. Hang back and wait for that to go off. It's certainly not a new idea in science fiction for a species to modify their physiology to be compatible with another planet's environment, but it doesn't seem like they should need to do that. Humans get along just fine in the ship environment, so the aliens' native atmosphere, temperature, gravity, all that have to be pretty close to Earth already. And given that they've been observing us for at least 600 years, it doesn't seem like they're really interested in that anyway. Maybe they're trying to create super soldiers, like what humans did with FEV and ended up with super mutants. And they did abduct some super mutants, so it could be another case like the plasma weapons, where, you know, who stole what idea from who. I don't know. And they definitely have a kind of X-Files feel to them. Very creepy. Next up, biological research. Which, after what we've just seen, isn't quite as bad as it sounds. There's not much in here but a set piece with escaped abominations slaughtering aliens. It doesn't seem to be heavily scripted, just creatures in enemy factions placed near to each other and let normal combat sort it out. So the aliens could theoretically win, but the odds are stacked so high against them that it might as well be impossible. In fact, I don't see any weapons fire, so it might already be over. Which is just fine with lose. These big cylinders have abominations in them, just in case you want a better view than you normally get while they're alive. More workers, no problem. Or maybe it is. They're unaggressive, but they are technically hostile, so if you bump into one, the whole world comes running. And this is the teleporter the team comes through, but they're not coming through yet. I could use a hand. No, that goes to the death ray hub. That goes to the observation deck. Oh, I hope the enemies in this area don't all have to be dead before the game will let them through. Well, I was just rationalizing when I said that drone control device might prove to be essential to our escape, but it might actually be. Assuming there's a recharging pod around here. Here we go. Activate the pod. It's just a support drone, but that's probably safer for me, so it'll do. There we go. Nice work. But the teleporter is still powered down. Or there's a switch. Unbelievable. Yep, Here they come. Brilliant.
You're really good at this. I hope it wasn't too scary.
Couple close calls, but not too bad. Definitely nothing that was totally my fault and resulted in unnecessary deaths. Guess you were right about it being better that I went alone. Wouldn't have wanted any witness. Things might have gotten out of hand if Paulson was with me shooting the place up. Oh, and I have a pet robot now, so that's cool. So how about you? How are you holding up?
Pretty good, I guess. This is scary. But it's also kind of fun.
There's a teleporter to the bridge, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think they're trying to keep us from getting there. Well, we should look for another way to go. There's one more here that works. You go through first to make sure it's safe, and I'll be right behind you, okay?
I think she might be mistaken. If I'm right, there are actually two that work now. The one to the death ray hub, and the one they just came through. I don't want to pickpocket her. I want to see if anybody has anything new to say. Should be safe to stand up.
Well, hey there. Fancy meeting you here. Nice work. Now what?
Well, it's like you said back in the cell. If you don't know what you're doing, make it up as you go along.
Ha ha, very funny. If you've got nothing, then ask the kid. She's been helpful so far.
They know we're coming, so be careful.
Now, the teleporter to the bridge is disabled, but the one back to the observation deck is not. And how about the one from here back to the engine core? And now the $64,000 question. What about the side levels? If they're still open, I'm pretty sure this is the last chance to make a final sweep to check for loot, audio logs, or whatever. And indeed they are. Hey, this is where you were built. But, let's not go down to the assembly line. I'm sure everything is exactly how you remember it. And the optional levels are still open too. Good to know. But I'm pretty sure that teleporting to the Death Ray Hub is the point of no return. It short circuits after you use it, so you can't get back to biological research, and once you get to the bridge, you're locked into the end game. Yeah, unsurprisingly, the decompression chamber is like waste disposal. You can only visit it once. And like I said a few episodes back, from the code, it looks like those levels are locked when you complete the DLC quest line. Not locked. It replaces them with doors marked inaccessible, so you can't even get back in with console commands. So I guess it's time to get to the Death Ray Hub. Drop a save real quick, just in case. Don't forget to go in sneaking. Yep, the teleporter short circuits after you use it, so there's no going back now. Excuse me. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Bumping my own drone alerts the enemies. That's weird. Does bumping into an ally change your detection status the same as bumping into an enemy? All the time I put into sneak and detection analysis, and it never occurred to me to test that. But it might be. It's entirely possible that I've been blaming companions for getting spotted and giving me away when it was actually my fault for crawling up their ass trying to stay out of the way of enemies. My test course isn't really set up for that, but it probably doesn't matter. No, that can't be right. Like, if you don't have the stealth suit, they'd be detecting you all the time, whether you touch them or not. But either way, it should be pretty easy to test. You know, just spawn in an ally and touch it. Damn it! So worried about touching my drone that I run straight into an alien. Drone? Little help? Well, don't chase me. I'm harmless. Go fight my drone. Oh no. The drone's dead. And I will probably not be far behind. There's zero chance we can get back to Hidden, and the teleporter's broken. I think our only hope is to make a beeline for death ray control and hope they can't follow us through the door. I mean, at least we got plenty of stim packs. I was kind of planning to save and quit when we get there. Once we resolve the situation, there's only one more level between us and the bridge, but there's something there I don't want to miss, and getting to it might be a bit tricky. And then, as you might expect, there's a huge final confrontation on the bridge, which will wrap up the DLC. Wouldn't want to run out of time and have to save and quit in the middle of any of that, but arriving at death ray control apparently isn't going to be as sedate as I was expecting. Which is a problem, because my proof of concept for the alternative no-kill solution for the endgame works, but it isn't implemented in the mod yet. Are we alone? We are not. Well, I'd say that's karma for my many misdeeds this week. Good thing I saved before I used the teleporter. The autosave is probably a death loop. Or maybe it isn't. Oh, if they're really not going to come through now, I will not look that gift horse in the mouth. Well, a little bit of editing. Here we are at death ray control. Nothing interesting or embarrassing happened in the death ray hub, so I'm going to save and call it a day. If you bail when I start talking about technical stuff, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment if you have questions or suggestions. I'm not really going to edit it out. Probably. First up, the mystery drone. I checked its ref ID, and it is indeed the one that the alien with the drone control device let out of its pod the first time we were in the robot assembly area. Which explains why it was hostile when I first arrived on the observation deck, and then started following me after I discovered the companion glitch and got the remote control. It doesn't explain how it ended up on the observation deck in the first place, but, you know, Bethesda game's gonna Bethesda. And the spacewalk. The problem here is what I said earlier. The Pip-Boy glove takes precedence over the spacesuit glove because the spacesuit isn't tagged as using the Biped Model hand slots. I explained in detail how those slots work back in episode 7 when I was trying to figure out the odd interaction between the stealth suit helmet, the ghoul mask, and the headscar you get in the Sacred Bog. I'll put a link in the description. Bottom line, the fix for the spacesuit gloves is to tag the hand slots in its biped model list. Now, like I said, that would create a conflict with other mods that change the spacesuit, and there are at least 2, maybe more. I could mitigate the conflict by making a copy of the spacesuit, applying the glove fix to that, and using a script to automatically equip the copy for the spacewalk scene, then switch it back when the spacewalk is over, and the player would be none the wiser. I said if I put that much effort into it, I'd probably incorporate it into PAM, but there's a problem with that. One of the other mods is a replacer that gives it a more futuristic appearance, and if you went into third-person camera mode during the spacewalk, you'd see yourself wearing the old 1960s-looking version. So I'd rather that mod have a load order conflict with a standalone glove fix than a runtime conflict with PAM. But I'm not sure it's even really worth all that effort anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that's it. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.